You are born in 1930 in a small house in Wapakoneta, Ohio. The floorboards creak in winter. Your father works as a state auditor. Steady, quiet. The sky over flat fields feels larger than the town itself. At 2 years old, you ride in an airplane for the first time. The engine roars like a living thing. You do not cry. You stare out the window and feel something settle inside you. As a boy, you build model airplanes on the kitchen table, glue on your fingers, balsa wood dust in your nose. You bicycle to the local airfield and sweep hangars in exchange for flight lessons. The mechanics laugh at your thin arms, but they let you watch. Gasoline fumes cling to your clothes. At 16, before you have a driver's license, you fly solo. The runway blurs beneath you. The earth falls away without argument. You enroll at Purdue to study aeronautical engineering, but the Navy calls before you finish. The Korean War waits. You trade textbooks for a flight suit. The carrier deck is a slab of steel, pitching in gray water. Salt wind cuts your face. You launch from a catapult that slams your spine. Anti-aircraft fire blooms black in the sky. You keep your hand steady on the stick. A shell tears part of your wing apart over North Korea. The aircraft shudders. Warning lights flash. You fight the controls, nursing the wounded machine back toward friendly lines. The landing gear fails. You eject low. The parachute snaps open like a fist. You hit the ground hard and run before anyone sees you fall. You return home thinner, quieter. You finish your degree. You marry Janet, who learns to read the silence in your posture. The country shifts into the Cold War. The sky becomes contested territory. You join the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, flying experimental aircraft that push metal to its limits. At Edwards Air Force Base, the desert stretches empty and merciless. You strap yourself into the X-15. The rocket engine ignites behind you with a violence that presses blood into your skull. The aircraft climbs beyond where blue turns thin and dark. The controls feel soft at the edge of atmosphere. One mistake, and you burn. On one flight, you bounce off the upper atmosphere and overshoot the runway by miles. Fuel runs low. The ground rises too fast. You land hard but alive. You walk away without spectacle. Inside, your pulse refuses to slow. In 1962, you are selected as an astronaut. The training is relentless. Centrifuges crush your chest with G-forces. Water tanks simulate weightlessness. You spin in darkness until your stomach rebels. Reporters wait outside gates. The world begins to say your name. At home, your daughter Karen grows ill. Brain cancer. Hospitals replace test flights. Machines hum around her small body. You cannot fix this. She dies in 1962. The house becomes hollow. You do not speak much about it. Work sharpens into necessity. In 1966, you command Gemini 8. The docking with an Agena target vehicle succeeds for a moment. Then the spacecraft begins to spin. Faster, faster. The horizon whips past the window. Your vision narrows. You reach for the thruster controls and fire the re-entry system to stop the rotation. The mission aborts. You return early, alive by seconds. 3 years later, you sit atop a Saturn V rocket on a humid Florida morning. August 1969. The cabin smells of metal, plastic, and human breath trapped in suits. The countdown echoes through your headset. Engines ignite beneath you with controlled fury. The vibration rattles your teeth. The rocket rises, slow at first, then unstoppable. The journey to the moon is quiet in a way that feels unnatural. You and Buzz Aldrin move through checklists. Michael Collins orbits alone when you descend in the lunar module. Alarms flash during the final approach. The computer overloads. Fuel ticks down. 30 seconds. 20. The landing site is strewn with boulders. You take manual control. The surface rises to meet you. Dust swirls in silent arcs. Contact light. You descend the ladder in stiff boots. The lunar surface is powder over rock. Gray. Endless. You step down and feel the weight of a suit and a nation pressing on your shoulders. There is no sound but your own breathing in the helmet. The earth hangs above the horizon, small and fragile. You speak the line prepared for history, but the moment itself is private. Your boot leaves a print that will outlast you. The return to Earth is fire. Plasma engulfs the capsule during re-entry. The heat shield holds. Parachutes bloom over the Pacific. Recovery divers knock against the hatch. When you step onto the deck of the aircraft carrier, sailors cheer. You are placed in quarantine, separated by glass, as if you carry something unknown. Cameras capture your restrained smile. The world tour begins. Crowds press forward in cities across continents. Parades, speeches, handshakes that never end. You wear dark suits instead of flight gear. Applause replaces engine noise. Yet at night, in hotel rooms, you stare at ceilings and feel the same gravity as before. Fame is a different kind of vacuum. You resign from NASA in 1971. You choose to teach engineering at the University of Cincinnati. Chalk dust replaces moon dust. Students watch you as if you were a monument, not a man. You insist on equations, not legend. The farm in Ohio offers quiet. You walk fields at dusk. Crickets hum. The sky remains vast, but you no longer chase it. In 1979, a small plane crash takes the life of your friend and colleague. You attend another funeral. Later, you serve on the investigation board after the Challenger disaster in 1986. The room smells of paper and tension. Engineers argue in low voices. You read transcripts that detail warnings unheeded. The cost of ambition returns in hard numbers and broken names. Your marriage to Janet fractures under years of absence and silence. Divorce papers are signed in 1994. You remarry later, seeking companionship without spectacle. Interviews become rare. You avoid the spotlight. Strangers still approach you in airports, their hands trembling as they ask for autographs. You sign politely. You prefer the anonymity of hardware stores and back roads. Your body slows with age. Heart surgery in 2012. Hospital lights glow sterile and white. Tubes and monitors replace spacecraft panels. You lie still, listening to the steady beep that measures what remains. Complications follow. Infection, weakness, breath becomes effort. You die at 82. The news spreads in seconds across a world wide with satellites you helped inspire. Flags lower. Headlines recall one step and one footprint. Your ashes are scattered at sea from a Navy vessel. The water closes without ceremony. You lived 82 years. You flew 78 combat missions. You spent 8 days in space. You walked on another world for 2 hours and 31 minutes. You gained history. You lost privacy, a daughter, a marriage, and the illusion that achievement shields you from grief. You sought the sky and found it empty of glory, filled instead with risk and responsibility. You learned that courage is quiet, technical, procedural. Freedom is not escape from gravity. It is choosing to face it. You left a mark in dust that has no wind. The rest of you returned to earth and salt water like anyone else. You wanted to reach beyond the world. You did. This is the weight of that reach. If you felt the silence inside that helmet, step into another life and test your own limits.